Only thing, as I'm saying that try and have only one vehicle, one moving object in your frame instead of
Yeah,
two for better effect.
right,
Okay? Otherwise, because since you are focused only on to one subject, the other vehicle is anyway going to be blur out of focus. So might as well avoid and just have one vehicle like this. Okay, so that the focus of the viewer is onto the vehicle. Okay, which
right.
is the only one element which is moving in the frame, and this is a good picture, I would say. Right? The focus is stack on, no problem with it, right? Uh, you have got the motion blur in the background, right? And it is giving a sense of speed, right?
Yeah, the
And
object. Sir, I have experienced that if the object behind the focus, the subject, if the object behind the subject is far behind, the blurriness will get more effective.
yes, yes, your observation is right. See, but anyway, but your camera is panning.
Yeah,
Okay, so that the panning motion itself will have a motion blur on the background, and further the background away from the main point of interest, that
subject.
is the moving vehicle. Okay, the panning motion would be amplified that much. Right,
Right,
you are getting me, right?
right, right,
Compared to the background being closer to the subject. So the amplification is many folds as the distance between the subject and the background increases, and hence the effect. And
right,
secondly, the depth of field also comes into play, shallow depth of field as the background goes far away from the subject. So both the things have better motion blur effect, shallow depth of field effect. So observation is absolutely right. Secondly, if the background is colorful, okay, shades, different color shades, tones,
right.
that will help get a better panning background.
Exactly.
Like in this case, against a flat blue sky, you have the green trees and bushes.
Right,
Okay, so the contrast is working here. Okay, so this is even better because you also followed the rule of third year,
yeah,
right? So more breathing space towards the direction in which the subject is moving. So the rule of third also is helping make the composition better. Right. Again, the rule of third year is in play. Only thing is, it is a tilting horizon. Okay.
yeah,
So make it exactly horizontal in post. Okay.
right,
Otherwise, it is tilting and it is giving an impression of a uphill ride for the vehicle. But might
right.
as well get it corrected in post. Yes. Right. I mean, the dogs in the frame,
Yeah,
and then the main subject being sandwiched between the two dogs.
yeah,
It is actually adding to the aesthetics of the frame. Okay, so you never know what will work because I'm sure this wouldn't have been intentional. So in the motion, in the action, you would have got this, but then you see it's working. I mean, it's a welcome break from the rest of the pictures where you have only the vehicle as the main element point of interest, right? So
right.
this is actually breaking the monotonity of the album. Okay. Don't have the back to the camera. As I said in the group also, your subject should be perpendicular. So that is the picture that you should select. for display. Okay.
Okay.
Anything that shows the back or the nose can be avoided. It needs to be perfectly parallel. This angle or this angle, when the vehicle has already left that small range, you can avoid that. Like in this case, okay, avoid the back. Good. Okay. Right. It can. I mean, a dark pitch carbon black vehicle with a perfectly executed panning, it can very well pass as a ve- vehicle commercial. Right? You can add some text here saying that okay, Mahindra or whichever vehicle it is, and it can become a good advertising brochure. And you would have seen these are the kind of pictures that you see for car advertisements in your newspapers or uh, two-wheeler advertisements. Basically, they
Right.
have a panning only done for the vehicles. So, see, the way the bike is approaching in your range. I mean, perpendicular to your camera. Okay, you start shooting from this side, this angle. Okay, but not necessarily this would be one of your keepers. Okay, so yes, this could be better. Yes, yeah. So you see, these two pictures are exactly perpendicular. So
Yeah.
this is what you need
Exactly
to.
in front of the lens.
So perfect. Everything is in focus. Okay, the cycle, the wheels, the person riding it.
The shutter speed was 30. Actually, in cycle, 30 was good.
Right. So it depends. You see, if it is a cycle, uh, the speed of the cycle is like 15-20 kilometers per hour compared to a car which is at 40-50 in on city streets. Okay.
Right.
So accordingly, you will have to adjust your shutter speed. So for this, you will have to see whether 1/30th is too slow because you will start getting blur on the car itself. In that case, you need to increase it to 1/30. Whereas for a bicycle, 1/60 would be a little fast, so one
Very
by
good.
thirty is working great. So whose picture are these? I mean, is it yours, Sudipta, or somebody else's?
No,
That
it's
no, the cyclist was mine, Ajit. This one
Ajit.
is also mine.
Okay, this is yours, huh? Okay,
Yeah,
right. So have a landscape, have a complete frame.
yeah, yeah,
Is it a vertical composition?
yeah. This was vertical. Yeah,
No, but I mean, vertical you need not, because anyway, but it's a very difficult thing that you are trying first hand. So have it horizontal landscape. Vertical
yeah,
panning would be very difficult. Right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No need to complicate things. Yes. So again, a vertical composition, it's really difficult to get it right.
yeah,
And as I said, uh, try and use the rule of one third. So here the rule of
yeah, yeah,
is too close to the edge here.
yeah, yeah,
Moreover, the back is seen in the camera.
yeah,
So I think it is taken from some elevation, maybe from the gallery of your building or from your house. I don't know, but then uh,
yeah. This one is somebody else's. I don't know.
This one is mine, sir. Praveen.
uh, whose picture is this?
Praveen, sir.
Praveen. Yes. So is it from your the building, your flat
Yes, yes, balcony.
gallery? Yeah, first
Yeah,
floor maybe.
yes, sir. Balcony of my flat.
Yes. So yes. So I mean, ideally, would like to have it at the eye level,
Okay.
but then uh, looking at it on a bigger screen, um, it's working good. In fact, I'm getting an impression of a miniature effect in this particular picture. Miniature effect, you see,
Yeah.
everything seems to be very small in a miniature effect. So something
Yes.
like that, that kind of a effect I am seeing here. But then, as I said, have panning at eye level always better to
Some
keep this.
multi-focus points I have applied actually. Is the right way or it's can we take any focus points?
Uh, no need for a multi-focus um, for panning. Just single focus is good enough,
Okay.
right? Because see, the moment you increase the number of focus points, the focus is going to be slow,
Okay.
and you need a fast focus when you're using this technique. Okay, the focus should be latched and locked onto the subject the moment you hit your shutter halfway down. So one focus point, and that to center focus is recommended, and I don't think it's much of a problem because the subject is big enough, very close to the camera comparatively, and it can be locked onto the subject. So have one single focus.
Okay. Okay.
So as I said, panning, you need to see the background. You need to
Yes.
have the background illuminated properly because
Right.
that is where the real play is happening. Okay, the motion blur happens in the background, not on the subject, right? And when you are taking a picture, whose picture is this? I don't
This
get
is
to
me,
see the name.
Sudipta.
Sudipta, yeah, Sudipta. So I also mentioned in the group that the timing is not right. Okay, the night time
Yeah.
should be avoided because you
Yes,
just can't
actually.
see the background,
Yes,
right?
actually,
And
I was just trying and practicing
uh,
all the time.
Ajit, use a horizontal composition and make sure that you have the complete subject in the frame. Okay, don't crop the legs. That was my comment, right?
Oh yeah, I know that got trimmed off.
Yes, but then uh, no problem with the focus on the subject. Whose picture is this? I had said that it's too overexposed, isn't it? So I think the setting had gone wrong because all the pictures from this particular series was totally blown out. So these are better, okay, in terms of exposure, right? Perfectly exposed images, and then the motion blur is also coming into play. Work on the composition, but I can understand that it's a busy junction, so a lot of vehicles in the frame. So as I said, just focus on one single vehicle, and that too very much perpendicular to the camera. See, the clutter is not working in this particular frame. Okay? There are
Yeah.
two vehicles, and that too in one corner of the frame. Most of the frame is just the road. You work on the composition. Now that you are aware, you practice on the technique, work on the composition. Right. So this is better. Actually, the white vehicle in the background with the motion blur and trail and a perfectly focused subject is well executed, I would say. Okay. So the background is well selected. The only thing missing is a perfect execution. Okay. Scope for improvement. Otherwise, the background selected is pretty good for a panning effect. Blue with all these light blue shades in between. If you execute it properly, it will all get mixed up and it will give you a good effect. So your zoom should be such that you cover only the wall like this along with the vehicle. Okay, so frame it properly. No need for the sky to be in the frame.
Okay.
And even if you have got the sky, you can crop it along the edge of the wall. Right. I think it could be better. The exposure seems to be underexposed here. The back is prominent in the frame, which is not advisable. Okay, so this is what I had mentioned. Always click when the subject is exactly perpendicular to the camera. While you can start shooting from here, but then the two, three pictures in this particular range, in this particular zone would be your keepers. The rest all, this corner and this corner can be discarded because compositionally they are not very compelling. Absolutely. See how what jugglery this boy is doing. Uh, without without the hands on the handle, he's riding. One hand is holding the mobile, other hand is I think is adjusting the Bluetooth
Earphone.
device.
Yeah.
Okay, it could be a perfect picture for road safety week.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Whose picture is this?
This is me, Sudipta.
Sudipta. Yes, I think you should tag that the traffic police and post the picture on Instagram, Facebook. Right. So see how the bright, colorful background has an impact on
This year.
panning pictures. Okay, the brighter the pictures, riot of colors in the background, actually better. So it should be a mix of colors: green, blue, yellows, reds, okay, something like that. So that will give you absolutely wonderful effect. So all this while I was saying that you should avoid multiple elements in the frame, multiple vehicles because that gets too much cluttered and doesn't work for the picture. But
Hmm.
here is an exception where all these three vehicles, okay, are adding to the story, isn't it? The chaos on Indian streets. The focus is tack on to the main subject, and everybody else is blurred out, and they are occupying different parts of the frame. Not necessarily they are all entangled; they are all separate, and it's actually filling the frame, which is working in favor of the frame.